Hello, my name is Jim Laughlin. I teach clarinet at Amarillo College, and I wanted to show beginners how to assemble the clarinet. So first of all, you want to open the instrument, set it on the floor. Set the case on the floor. Don't open the case with it on your lap. So make sure the case is on the floor before you open the case. And then what I like to do is start with the bell, and I'm going to angle the camera down so you can see my knee. What I like to do is set the bell on my knee. Make sure the emblem of the clarinet is facing out. Start with the bell, and then we want to take the lower joint. And one thing to check is that your cork has enough cork grease on it. So with your instrument, it came with a little tube of cork grease, and you just put a little bit. It's kind of like chapstick on your lips. You just put a little bit on, and then you rub it in with your thumb. If you need to, you can use a paper towel to wipe off the excess. So I like to put the bell on my knee, and then I like to take the lower joint, and instead of twisting it, what we want to be careful of is don't twist the keys. So you want to set the lower joint on the bell, and then actually bring your hand up on top and just press it down. So then you can align your emblems if you need to. But use the pressure coming down. So then the same thing with the next is the upper joint. Now this one's a little bit different. Again, we want to make sure that there's some cork grease on your cork, right? So you can check that. Don't put too much on there or it'll build up in there. One thing about assembling the upper joint with the lower joint, you can see that the upper joint has this bridge, this key that comes across, and that has to line up on the clarinet with this key. So you want to make sure that this upper joint, these keys are pushed down so that you're raising that bridge. So then when I'm putting it together on my knee, I'm going to press this down, and then I'm going to press this in. So again, I'm going to set it on my knee, and I'm going to put my hand on the top, and I'm going to press it down this way. Then you want to make sure push these keys down, and you want to line up this bridge. So I'm just going to turn it so that that's lined up. If I push the lower keys and not the upper keys, then that bridge will go in the wrong direction, and it could actually break your key. So you see that this has to be lined up, right? We don't want it to be like that, right? So you can see that that's not lined up. So we want to turn it so that those are lined up, just like that. Okay, so then the next part is called the barrel. So again, I set the bell on my knee, and I've set the barrel on the top, and then I like to push down, right? Until you get used to your instrument, you don't want to grab and twist with the keys. You'll actually bend your keys. And then finally, I'll take the mouthpiece, and again, we're going to put cork grease on the corks. If you have a new instrument, it requires it, every couple days until it gets nice and conditioned. And then the same thing, I'm just going to press it down, right? You want to make sure that the open part of the mouthpiece lines up with your register key down here. So then you assemble the instrument by the force coming down, not twisting with the keys. I'm going to adjust the camera again so that you can see me. There we go. So then next is going to be the reed. And we'll take our reed. You want to wet the reed, so put it in your mouth and let it soak. You want to get not only the top part wet, but also the bottom part. So get both sides nice and wet. Now here's what I recommend not doing. Don't put your reed on the mouthpiece and then bring your ligature down over the reed. I've seen lots and lots of beginners break their reed doing that. So what I suggest is put your ligature on the reed. Now, all ligatures are made with the screw to go to the right. Some ligatures are made for the screw to go on the top, and some ligatures are made for the screw to go on the bottom. Whichever way it is, the screw will come in from the right. If you put it the wrong way, now my screw is coming in from the left, I have it the wrong way. This is made to go on top. You can tell by the direction the screw for the ligature is always to the right. So make sure you have the screw coming in from the right. I like to put the ligature on the mouthpiece first, wet my reed, and then bring the reed down into the ligature. That way you're less likely to break the tip of the reed. Now what I like to do is use my thumbs at the bottom of the reed to adjust the reed left and right, and my forefingers kind of on the side of the reed, and I can adjust the reed so that it's centered on the mouthpiece. Then you want to look at the tip of the reed. I'll get it behind that refrigerator back there. You can see there's just a little bit of mouthpiece, the black, right? You kind of want them even, but if you look at the reed, you can see just a little sliver of black up at the top. So you want them to be pretty even. You don't want the reed to be, up too high like that, right? So you're going to adjust it. Again, I like to use my thumbs at the bottom of the reed and my fingers, and I just move the reed around. And usually I look for something light. Once I get the reed adjusted, I hold it with my thumb, and then I move the ligature where it needs to be. I find something that's light, like that refrigerator back there, so that you can see the black above that. So get that set up. Then once you have that set up, as I mentioned, I hold the reed with my thumb, and I put the ligature where it needs to be. If you have a reed, your mouthpiece usually has a line on it, right? That's about where your ligature goes. So I just did what I told you not to do. Don't put your reed on and then your ligature until you get a little bit more advanced, right? So bring your ligature down to where the top of it is at that line. And then you want to tighten the screw to where it's snug, not too much. So that's how to assemble the clarinet. I'm going to do a different video that shows you your holding position. So taking the clarinet apart, again, I like to just do the opposite. I set the bell on my knee, and the first thing I want to do is remove the reed, because that's the most delicate. It's also a good idea to have a reed case. I have a reed case that holds several. There are reed cases that hold just one or two, but you do not want to put away your instrument with the reed still on the mouthpiece. So take off the reed, and then it's real important with your clarinet to swab the instrument. So have a swab. Your instrument should have come with a swab. And notice I took the ligature off. I took off the reed and the ligature, and I run the string through the bell upside down. And I like to run it all the way down so that it comes out the mouthpiece, and then we just pull that through, including the mouthpiece. And I like to do that a couple of times, right? If you don't swab your instrument, you can actually grow mold inside your instrument. So that's kind of gross. So you want to swab the instrument every time you play it to get that moisture out. So then I disassemble it from the top down, opposite. I start with the mouthpiece. This can break real easily if you drop it, so you don't want to drop it. So I put it into the case, right? Start with the mouthpiece. Then I take off the barrel, and I put that back into my case. Again, make sure your case is not on your lap. Keep the case on the floor, right? Then when you're removing this, you want to go opposite of how you put it together. So I always like to turn the top out, or turn the bottom clockwise so that you don't break that key. So I always bring it clockwise and just take them apart. And then I put the upper joint away, and then you can hold it kind of down here, not at the keys, kind of hold it at the bottom and twist as you pull. And having plenty of cork grease, make sure that you're not going to bend your keys when you take it apart. So, all right.